Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over the Unit 3 Formative 1 review with you guys. This will kind of cover the first page in this video. So the first set of instructions say that we need to write an inequality that represents each verbal expression. What an inequality is when we have less than symbols, less than or equal to symbols, greater than or greater than or equal to symbols. Okay, so if I read this statement right here, number 1 says t is greater than 6. So I'm just going to write it out just as it says. T greater than symbol 6. That's all it is. Number 2 says m is less than or equal to, so less than or equal to negative 2. 3 and 4 get a little tricky because there's not just one thing on the left side. There's more than one. It says the quotient of x and 5, which means division. Quotient is division, so x divided by 5 is going to be less than 3. And number 4 says 9 more than p. Well, if I have 5 more than 12, that'd be 12 plus 5, which would be 17. So to write 9 more than p, I'm going to write p plus 9 is greater than or equal to 15. And you could have also had 9 plus p, that would work too. Number 5 says all real numbers that are greater than negative 1 and less than or equal to 6. I do not want to list all those numbers. I want to write it as a compound inequality. So negative 1 is my smallest number. 6 is my largest number. I want to know all the numbers that are in between. So we can assign that a variable. We'll call it x. And the easiest way to do is to look at the left-hand side here. X is less than or equal to 6. So I'm going to write that symbol in between the x and the 6, and that symbol has to be pointing the same direction on the other side, and it says it's greater than. So if I read it from the variable to the number, it says x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so that's writing an inequality. Now, the next chunk of this review, we're writing an inequality for the graph that is given. So I'm given this graph. I'm looking at, if I am going to the left, I'm using the less than symbol. If I'm going to the right, I'm using the greater than symbol. Notice how the arrows kind of point in that direction as well. My variable always has to be on the left side though in this case. So for number 6, I'm starting at 3. So I know that x has to be less than or equal to 3, because when I have a closed circle, that means I have either one of these symbols, and then if we're talking interval notation, I've got a bracket. When I've got an open circle, I've got less than or greater than and parentheses. Okay, so make sure you're not writing this as an interval notation, because you will get that wrong on the quiz. All right, number 7, we're starting at negative 1, and we're going forever to the right. So at negative 1, x is going to be just greater than negative 1 because it's an open circle. All right, number 8. Number 8 stops. Number 8 goes from negative 1.5 to 4, and that's it. So this is an and compound inequality, which means my endpoints are going to be on the outside, and my variable is going to go in the middle. Now I just have to figure out what is the relationship between x and 4. Well, at 4, it's going to be less than or equal to 4, and then it's got to be greater than negative 1.5. Notice again how my arrows are pointing in the same direction. And lastly, on number 9, this one, both arrows are pointing outside, so this is an or compound inequality. So I need 2 inequalities split between an or statement. So my left inequality starts at negative 7, and I know that x has to be less than or equal to negative 7 because it's a closed circle. And then or, starting at negative 2, x is greater than negative 2. And that is it for the first page. Make sure inequality uses the symbols. Interval notation is when we use brackets and parentheses. Okay, so make sure you're careful with what the question is asking.